Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. The podcast, the flock rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
Appreciate you, Ray. What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown, post-game episode. The Ravens just lost to the Steelers 17-10. Absolutely terrible loss. Gave the game away, especially on offense. But we'll get into it. But shout out to Abdi. He won the giveaway. He guessed 281 yards total from Lamar Jackson, and he had 281 yards. And this is Abdi's second win this year. So shout out to you, man. I replied to your YouTube comment. But yeah, let's get into the game. Just an offensive performance of mistakes. I mean, the defense played their hearts out. Obviously, they let up the George Pickens touchdown on Humphrey at the very end of the game, but I'm not putting this game on the defense at all. I mean, the offense had an insane amount of drop passes, 6 or 7 drop passes, not even counting the one that Zay stumbled. It just was beyond flat and filled with mistakes. The fumbles, early on, Justice Hill fumbled. Lamar had a strip sack. Lamar threw a pick that should have been a jump ball, and he just underthrew it in the end zone. But I can't put this on Lamar. I mean, that play specifically, yeah. The fumbled punt by Pittsburgh. We get the ball in the red zone. We're about to take a 2-possession lead. And he underthrows Odell for a jump ball, and it gets picked by Joey Porter Jr. I get it. Bad ball. Lamar made a bad play. But literally the entire rest of the game was Lamar making great throws, great decisions. I thought Todd Monken's scheme was right. I thought that Todd Monken had a great game plan. There were guys open, and we had 6, 7 drops. Bateman dropped a touchdown. Zay had 2 drop passes and a stumble on a ball he was wide open for. That ball was a little wobbly too, but I think he could have got it if he didn't fall. I mean, it was just endless amount of mistakes. The Ravens were just doing everything possible to throw this game away. I shout out to the Steelers, though. I mean, obviously a win's a win, but I guarantee as a Pittsburgh fan, you can confidently say that the Ravens had self-inflicted wounds to provide this loss. All the drop passes, and we'll get into the coaching in a second, which I'm pretty fired up about too. But all the drop passes alone, Aguilar, I didn't even mention that. Aguilar dropped a wide open touchdown. I mean, all of that alone at least sends this game to OT, right? Or, I mean, we should have scored 3 more times. So, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Pittsburgh, but this is obviously a mistake-filled game from Baltimore, and that's the reason that this score and this result is the way it is. Pittsburgh earned the win. TJ Watt showed up late. Their defense picked up in the second half and really was disruptive and got pressure. Disrupted our offensive line. We lost Makari, who was already the backup right tackle for Morgan Moses. We lost Makari, and Falele came in, and I just thought he was extremely slow. I still am high on Falele down the line, but maybe he's got to get quicker feet, honestly. I mean, he's just too slow. Highsmith and Watt were just getting home consistently, and this is on the Ravens offense, and this is on the coaching, especially John Harbaugh. I mean, let's go back to right before half. We're easily, a 45-yard field goal or so? We're easily in Justin Tucker's range. And we decide to go for it on 4th and 2, 4th and 3. We hurry up to the line, and Lamar has to scramble out right and just chuck one downfield. There was nothing even going on there. Why wouldn't you kick a field goal, which is basically guaranteed, and go up 2 possessions? At that point, we go into half 13-3. And I feel like that could just provide a bunch of different opportunities later in the game. the game probably doesn't unfold the same way when you have that early 3. And then, obviously, Lamar made that huge mistake in the red zone, but that was another chance at points. And the Aguilar drop touchdown, I'm repeating myself, but I'm just saying these are all lost points that easily send this game into the Ravens' favor. I'm just pissed, man. I'm pissed. The offense is beyond inconsistent. We said this after the Colts game. I was worried that this could continue, and I said that in our pregame show that I think the Steelers are going to rebound and be a lot more physical and kind of slop this game up, and I wouldn't be surprised if our offense struggles, but I never thought in a million years it would be this bad. Coming off the week against Cleveland that we just had without all of our weapons, and now we get Bateman back and Odell back, and I'm sorry, I'm definitely not writing them off by any means, but they just don't look healthy to me. They don't look full speed. They don't look confident. Odell, I guess, does, but Bateman doesn't look confident. I don't know what's going on out there. Andrews made a few catches. Zay did make a few catches. I don't want to be extremely hard on Zay. He did come up big in a few areas, but he also had 2 drops and stumble that would have made a big play. So the receivers, once again, are just not helping Lamar. And Lamar played a great game outside of that red zone interception. That was a terrible ball, but I can't just beat Lamar up for, 1 or 2 mistakes the entire game. Lamar played a really good game. The majority of those balls were on the money and they were dropped, especially early in the game. It was just drop after drop after drop. I don't understand, man. I don't understand the inconsistency. The aggressiveness to go for it when we got like a 45-yard field goal. I mean, make it make sense. Make it make sense. I need an explanation. I'm sure Harbaugh's going to give one in the press conference. I'm literally recording this like seconds after the game ended because I wanted to kind of give my initial emotional, post-game thoughts. So this is, we'll put some press conference clips together tomorrow and talk about something else. But right now, this is how I feel. I haven't heard from the team. I don't want to hear from the team. I know what I saw, and it's beyond frustrating. This game was extremely frustrating to watch, and it just felt like it was just self-inflicted wounds over and over, and I'm like, man, this feels like the Colts game 2 weeks ago. Is this what we're getting? We're going to get an inconsistent Ravens offense? Every other week or so, we just lay an egg. But shout out to Pittsburgh. I am giving credit where credit's due. George Pickens had a hell of a game. Kenny Pickett played good enough. You know what I mean? I wasn't blown away by what he did, but he was efficient and got the job done. Jalen Warren's an absolute baller and was playing a really physical brand of football, running that ball. And I give credit to where credit's due. The Steelers' defense played incredible. TJ Watt, Highsmith were getting home. I'm not surprised. I said that in the pregame that I was worried about those two, especially against our line with Moses out. And I noticed some rust overall. We got Marcus Williams back, we got Humphrey back, we got Bateman back, Odell back, Ronnie Stanley back. We're like, all right, cool. Like, this is the full Baltimore Ravens team. But I think our excitement got in the way of the fact that playing football on a weekly basis and practicing on a weekly basis or on a daily basis basically keeps you more fine-tuned. And I felt like Humphrey played all right, but obviously got beat in a game-winning type situation. George Pickens just went right by him and burnt him on a go route for essentially the game winner. And that's on Humphrey. He's left on an island out there, and he didn't do it. He didn't play well enough. You know what I mean? And he wasn't out there the entire game. I noticed they were picking on Darby and Stevens a little bit. I thought Stevens played a really solid game, though. I thought Arthur Mollett played a really solid game in his return to Pittsburgh. And I'm still high on this secondary and this defense as a whole. I wish our pass rush would have got home more. I felt like our pass rush in this game in particular was lacking. I was not impressed. Unless we really brought a lot of pressure and brought extra bodies, we just weren't getting home. Our pass rush has to step up. I think there may be a trade in the near future, but the problem is on our offense. That's the crazy thing, Like, I want to sit here and be like, oh, I want to nitpick the defense. Like, we need a better rush and stuff. This game's not on the defense. There's no way you could sit there and defend an argument that we lost to the Steelers today because the Ravens defense underperformed. I mean, I can't hear that argument. I can't hear it. This was on the offense. This was on coaching decisions. And we gotta stop going for it. We gotta start taking points. I don't like if it's 4th and inches in a certain situation, it's a really long field goal and you could run a QB sneak or just pound it. Like, okay, that I can hear that out. But 4th and 2 and it's like a 45-yard field goal. I don't want to hear about us going for it. Take the points, especially when it takes it from a 1-possession game to a 2-possession game. Take the points. Make it a 2-score game. It's harder for Pitt to get going. Pitt's offense was not moving the ball all game long. They got going a little bit late. The momentum was definitely swinging their way. They blocked the punt. They fumbled then on the other end, and we got their fumble, so I guess that kind of equals out. I know they got a safety from the punt block, but this is a tough loss. This is a tough loss to take. Not only is it against Pittsburgh, but we should be 5-0. We lost to the Colts and the Steelers in the same type of way. Just a multitude of mistakes. You have to clean that up. And I really believed as this season went, and this still could be true, but I would like to think that as we got all these guys back, they would get more in sync and this offense could kind of unlock a little bit. And I still think that's the case based on the scheme. I really do. Like, there were so many plays to be made in this game. This is not like on Todd Monken. Look at all the receiver drops. Like, those should have been plays. That Aguilar should have been a touchdown. Bateman dropped a touchdown in the end zone. Like, these are plays that are right in your hands. You know what I mean? Like, that's not on the coordinator. That's not on the play calling. I can't blame that in this particular game. I just can't. I think this game's on the receivers, making all these mistakes and not helping Lamar out enough. You could toss like 10-15% blame to Lamar at the end of the game. He underthrew Beckham and it just wasn't a good throw that was intercepted. Lamar was strip sacked, a couple things at the very end of the game you can kind of throw on Lamar. But the majority of this game is the receivers making mistakes, the fumbles, Justice Hill fumbling the ball earlier in the game when we had another drive going, and then the coaching. Whether we planned to go for it or whatever the situation was, whether it was miscommunication I'm hearing, whatever it might be. I just saw a tweet, that's what I'm saying, like, oh, Harbaugh said it was miscommunication and we were planning to kick a field goal. Why are you out there then? How is that miscommunication? That's still on the coaching. Why is the offense out there and the ball's being snapped if you plan to go for a field goal? That's not miscommunication. That's lack of communication. I still have faith in this team moving forward that we can build upon this, but I feel the same way I did after the Colts game. We're in for a rocky, nail-biting struggle of a season. I still think we could come out on top. I still think we have everything in front of us. We didn't have any serious injuries today as far as I know. I think that we're still in a good position to get this going, but expect some serious inconsistency. And now tomorrow we're flying to London. Who knows what we're getting next week against the Titans. That's another game that we should win, but after this inconsistent play from this offense, after this sloppy loss, now we're traveling across the world. I have no idea what to expect next Sunday, and I'm not confident about this team at all. This offense, I should say. The defense is great. The defense bailed us out of so many situations. Obviously, Marlon got beat by George Pickens at the end of the game. That does suck. Marlon's got to be better, but that's his first game back. He didn't even play the whole game. He was in and out. They were obviously had him on a snap count, and I think Marlon Humphrey will get more and more comfortable. There's no reason for us not to trust Marlon Humphrey or this defense in general. If I had to nitpick at little things, I'd be like, okay, we need a better pass rush. We need a more disruptive pass rush. And we're getting Owe back. Maybe that'll help. Maybe we make a trade for somebody like Danielle Hunter, who's a frustrating loss. But, shout out to Pittsburgh. Credit to Pittsburgh. You guys won fair and square. It counts. I think they're in the lead for the North now. I mean, technically they're tied, and I don't care about tiebreakers right now because we play again. And all of the Ravens division road games are out of the way. We've already played every team in the division on the road. We're 2-1 in the division, all on the road. Now every game from here on out in the division is in Baltimore. That's obviously an advantage, And these tiebreakers, like I said, just don't matter until we play again. It won't matter until later in the season, but this was a tough loss. Tough game to watch, and tough loss for me to sit here and talk about right now. But Orioles are on. I'm going to get off here and try to enjoy that game. But I appreciate you guys tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and just try and have a beautiful rest of your day. I'll talk to you guys next time.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim there where the sense can't tame the untamed.